everyone. Ira Feuerstein with your Wednesday Wisdom Tip of the Week. So last week, we talked about the concept of dominoes and how a small domino can actually knock down a domino 1.5 times its size, and that every week you need to be breaking down and not having goals, but having targets that are literally a sniper can shoot a bullet right through the middle of that target and know that it was hit. So you can break down your week into these targets that are measurable, that every single week, I would say a minimum of 3 to 4. One thing I forgot to tell you guys last week is I had a trouble kind of finding something that would help me do it, but I did find this weekly planner. It's pretty cool here. I don't know if you can see that, but basically what it does is it allows you to set weekly milestones and all the tracking behind it. This is helping me dramatically. So if you ever want a hint on where to get it, let me know. I will help you get that. But the whole concept of targets is super important. And I'm hoping that you're doing that weekly targets, 3 to 4 a week. Now, the reality of this is that you can have targets in mind and have real actionable, ways of tracking if you're hitting it or not. But the reality of it is, unless you have a significant why you want to hit that target, the odds are you're going to fail miserably. You're probably going to give up. As an example, people every year say, oh, I'm going to get healthy, or oh, I'm going to be better with my family, or whatever. But they don't have the why. So it lasts a very short period of time. The why is not burning hot enough inside their body to keep it going. So I'm going to share with you a real world example of mine. It's a very, very tough time in my life, but I thought it's important to share. So 4 years ago, it was my second day at work here at Nextiva, and I was having some physical problems, some weird spinal issues, pain, and second day into work, I got home, and I told my wife, I just don't feel good, let's eat dinner. And the pain went sort of from my back, and then all of a sudden I was feeling it in my hands and stuff like that. And I looked at my wife and I said, listen, something's really wrong here. I'm not a doctor, not a doctor guy, not a hospital guy, but I think you need to take me in right now because I don't know what's going on, but something just doesn't feel right. No other symptoms other than this sort of weirdness in my hands and my back. And I got into the hospital, and the doctor looked at me and said, you're having a mild heart attack. I was like, what? I'm like, I can't believe that. Are you sure? And he's like, yeah, you're having a mild heart attack. We're going to take care of you. We'll get you fixed up. And I said, okay, we'll do whatever you need to do. But I had no symptoms other than what I was, didn't feel like a heart attack to me. And thank God I made the decision to go in that day. Man, an hour later in the hospital, it all went down. And it was the worst experience of my life, to be frank. I basically came as close to dying as you can get. I had what they call a widowmaker heart attack. It felt like instantly like I couldn't talk, I couldn't breathe, I was dripping with sweat. People were running all over this room. I could see it still today. It's so vivid. People were running all over this room. My wife's sitting there. They're asking me questions. I can't answer the questions because I can't talk. Next thing I know, they're flopping me on a gurney. They're flying me down this hallway, lights going above my head, and my wife running alongside, going through the doors. I mean, literally like a movie. And the guy looks at my wife and looks at me and says, you got to say goodbye right now. And my wife, said goodbye and I love you. And I go into this room and there's these lights, big, bright operating room lights. And they flop me on this table. And the guy looks at me. I still remember, I still couldn't talk at this point, but the guy looked at me and said, listen, you're going to be okay. We're going to take care of you. Just hang in there. The cardiologist is going to be here in like 3 minutes. And it went dark. And that was it. I didn't remember anything from there on out. An hour later, I'm back in the same room I started at. I woke up and sat up in bed. And again, there's all these people in the room, my wife. And, obviously there's like a doctor looking guy there. And I sit up and I go, wow, I feel great. Can I go home? And the guy looks at me. He's like, do you have any clue what just happened to you? And I said, no, not really. And he goes, well, you just basically died. and we saved you. And you know, here's the crazy part. They found out during that hospital visit that I was diabetic and that diabetes probably caused this widowmaker heart attack. And I never knew that. No doctor ever told me. And so it was this ticking time bomb in my body. Now, you would think a person would get out of the hospital and be scared crapless and make all the necessary changes in their life to make sure that never happened again. I didn't do it. Crazy. Like, I mean, I think back to and right now in my head, I'm thinking back going, I am the stupidest idiot in the world. I didn't have a big enough why after almost dying. But here's the deal. Here I am 4 years later. I've got the why now. The voice inside my body says, listen, you look in your kid's eyes, 13 years old. You look in your wife's eyes and know that you're killing yourself. You're not doing the right things. You're not getting your body in tune. You're not getting your health, your nutrition. You're not doing any of this, and you have them relying on you. Dude, are you crazy? So 2 months ago, my why is solid now. And there is nothing that will stop me ever from attaining ultimate health and wellness and being around for another 50 years for my family. That's my why. I'm hoping that every week you have your why. It's important enough that if you don't have it, you will fail miserably. I can guarantee it right now. You will fail. You will give up. You will stop your weight loss. You will stop treating your family with respect. You won't take your job serious. I can go on and on. The why is the color behind the what. It's the fuel that drives a car. Imagine having a car with no fuel. You don't go very far. You can't get your what unless you have your why. And when you knock down those whats every week because of your why, it's like knocking down that very first little domino. Next week, you can knock down the bigger domino. And that's my Wednesday wisdom tip of the week, this week. Make sure that you're there, you're in tune with yourself, and comment, post, or like below. We're going to give away some great prizes. Last week, Ryan Shorts, you won the will to win. So, dude, send me your address, and I'll ship it out to you. Next week, what should we give away here? Let's do... This is a great one. This is an autograph book, friend of mine, called Kissing Kilimanjaro. It's about a guy who basically thought he couldn't make it to the top of Kilimanjaro, tried, failed, all the trials and tribulations that went along with it. You will love this book. So let's give it away next week. Like, comment, or share below for an autograph book by my friend Daniel Dorr. And we'll see you next week. Thanks, everyone. Bye.